Hey everybody, this is Chiro with Mimoyo, and I wanted to go ahead and give a trip report of what happened in Vegas. The because we were there, several days, so I wanted to give a report of telling you guys exactly what happened, a couple of really highs, and then I'll end it with giving you my thoughts about what happened at the battle between Chris and I, Sideshow Gamble. So, um, we got to Vegas. Actually, the trip there a lot easier. And forgive me, I've got a lozenge in my mouth. My I'm a little scratchy. My throat's a little messed up. So hope I didn't catch anything weird. Um, we were around a lot of people, so who knows? So we ended up getting to Vegas and a little surprised at uh, the guy who was driving us around, basically from the airport to our hotel. I don't know. I don't know if it was day one for him or whatever he was, but it was a little worrisome. But regardless, we got there. We were at Treasure Island, and it was our first time being there. We ended up having some uh, a really easy check-in process actually, and the people were really nice. The One of the first things I noticed is that I was walking around the casino before we even went up to the room, and they have a stadium craps there, which I thought was really cool. So we finally get up to the room, a little disappointed in the room. So let me tell you what happened. The the $20 trick. If you don't, basically you take your credit card, $20 bill, and your ID. Sandwich it, and then hand it to them and ask them for an upgrade. It's basically a tip to the person who's helping you, and there end up. Hopefully, there's a nice upgrade. So we ended up. The room that we got was really. I can't. I cannot even understand how it was an upgrade. So it was the TV was off to one side. Now the room was fine. It was clean. But a little disappointed in the quality of the room. Although we did get a good price, no doubt. So we unpack some stuff, head down to the casino, and I play a little bit of Stadium Craps, right? Um, it was really cool. I've never played it. I thought it was really neat. Luckily, there was a few other people playing, so it made it kind of fun too. But right next to it, they also had the regular craps table. Actually, they had two of them, and everything was all centralized. Basically, craps was right here. Stadium craps and the two craps tables. Even the bubble craps was like right behind it. I mean, it was pretty wild. Everything craps was right there. So started playing. Didn't do too bad. To be honest with you, I think it was probably evenish by the time I was done. Wife and I started grabbing a couple of drinks, getting a hold of certain people that were there, and that's when basically the trip started. So let me say this: it was unbelievable meeting everybody. It was like being at a your favorite rock star concert and actually going backstage and meeting everybody. It was really, really cool. Um, I'm going to give a whole bunch of shout outs. So, first and foremost, I think shout out needs to go to John Procraps. Wow, what an event you put on, John. That was really cool. And I got to say something. Your work ethics are absolutely incredible. How hard you worked and how diligent you were, and willing to stay up. That amount of time to get things done. And the other thing I noticed is how on a fly, you are so really good at just coming up with a question or coming up with something so it's not dead air. You're really, really good at that, John. I saw it, I recognized it, and I wanted to let you know that I saw it and recognized it. Fantastic job. And all the hard work that you did putting this thing together, organizing it, the way, all the, sleepless nights I'm sure that you had, as well as the sleepless night you had there. So, John, fantastic. Congratulations on a great event. This is really cool. My wife just did the laundry and I just put it on immediately again. So, and look, we got Christmas up and everything. That's not a real fireplace. So, okay. So, Ian, wow. Let me tell you what, Ian, I think I finally found somebody who has a voice louder than me. You, my friend, are amazing, and I love the energy, and that's exactly what was needed, especially in certain times during the event, to pump it up and get the good mojo going. So, Ian, great job, all the hard work. It was absolutely incredible meeting you, and I know you've always said, no, I don't have a channel, I don't want anybody to see my face. You were seen plenty of times on there, so gig is up on you. Buddy, it was great meeting you, though. I do appreciate it. And then let me say something. I also got to meet Dice Degen, Chris. I don't know if anybody else recognized it or noticed it. That guy is a lot taller than what you would think. I thought he was about the same size as me. No. I had to actually look up. Chris is a really fun guy. He really came up with all the technical stuff and helping John out with all that stuff. So making things work for this event, kudos to Chris. Awesome job, D-Gen. Awesome job. Listen, Obey Craps, Craig too. I mean, he sat there and did the 24 hours with them. There was limited amount of people that could go. So that was awesome, Craig. And you did a lot of really good stuff too. So I had to give you that kudos as well too. And it was awesome meeting you too. There was so many people that I got to meet, guys. I'm going to forget some people, so I apologize. But I mean, Rob, he drove us around that night on Fremont Street. Dice Dr. Dan. Look at there. So Dice Dr. Dan got me that. No, I did not win that legitimately. That's why I'm wearing it. If it was a legit win, it would be probably hung up on my wall or something like that. But that was cool. So many people, guys. Alfredo and Jeremy from Color Up. And then you got to give the kudos to David and Alex at Casino Quest for hosting the thing. Incredible place. So much fun. And they are so nice. I even got an opportunity to patronize their establishment the day before the event and actually did some craps there and bought some stuff. And look at here. Got the spinner ring. But it was an amazing trip. So many people, and I can't even remember half of their names, but during some of the interviews and the question and answers that John had set up, these people were awesome. Such great content that it was a pleasure being there, let alone being part of it. So thank you to everybody who helped with this event for the Crepes for the Cure. I'm not exactly sure exactly how much was made, but I know it was way up there. So I'm sure John or somebody will say exactly how much it was. But it was an amazing event. Okay, so the earrings and the watch that I ended up putting up for auction, I believe that they ended up going for like $450 for the earrings and $400 for the watch, I think it was. Great. I mean, I was like, oh, that's awesome, we ended up getting that money for the cause. I ended up putting some bids in, and I ended up winning a couple of things. In fact, let me let you know what I won. David from Casino Quest ended up putting up a block of cards that were unpunched, never used, for the Strat, I think it was a Stratosphere. And then they opted on something different, or it just discontinued. So they never got punched. They are brand new in a whole block. And I was excited about that because of my new casino room. So I bid on those and won those, which was awesome. And then I ended up bidding on this trip for a 3-night stay in a suite, and then $250 worth of credit for the Gordon Ramsay restaurant at a casino not too far from me. So that's going to be awesome. And I ended up winning that one too. So amazing. I mean, all of the auction items that were there were really cool. And whenever I made a bid, I got an email just to let you know how awesome the technology was. If somebody outbid me, I'd get an email really fast saying, "Hey, you've been outbidded. You wanna go up?" So it was really good, really well organized, guys. It was really well organized. A couple of hiccups here and there, but obviously you're gonna run into those, right? So, and listen, I'm not patting myself on the back. I did none of this, nothing at all. And I have to give kudos to everybody else who ended up doing all the work to that. I was just there. I was there having fun, helping as much as I possibly could, and then doing the battle, of course, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we got an opportunity to go. I think it was Bally's. All of us, and everyone who was going to be there, and go play some craps. Not at a real table. We ended up doing the stadium, and that was a lot of fun. Like I said, Ian, you could hear you from across the casino, man. I love it. My wife even said, she goes, at one time she goes, "Who is that?" I said, "That's Ian." She goes, "Man, she's as loud as you," or "He's as loud as you." Excuse me. Let me get my throat here. Yeah, after the plane on the way home, got a little scratchy. So, got a chance to play with everybody, which was awesome. Hadn't met Sideshow Gamble yet. He got in late, and ended up finally getting a chance to meet him, which was awesome, guys. I got to tell you, Chris from Sideshow, I thought he was going to be taller. That was another thing. I thought he was going to be much taller than what he actually is. He is roughly about the same height as me. He might be an inch taller than me or something like that, but roughly about the same height as me. What a great guy. And I gotta say something. I meant to say this while we were, live, but I'm going to say it now. The job that guy does, and I'm sure other people in our community have worked in the military. And if you have, this goes right along with you as well too. The job that he does is the reason why we have the freedom to actually play craps and be friends and hang out together and travel and everything. It's really because of that and what he does and all of his, people that he works with and the rest of the armed forces. You really got to give a appreciation to that. And, and then meeting him and seeing how down to earth he is and how cool he was. I found a brand new friend in Chris. I really did. We hit it off. It was awesome that he was at the same hotel as me. He was at Treasure Island. So we actually got a really good opportunity to hang out a little bit. And he is a fun guy and just a wealth of knowledge, but we clicked and I liked that about Chris. It was awesome. So we ended up, Chris and I ended up playing a little bit at the stadium. And I ended up, I told him right as he's going up, I'm like, Chris, I'm going to bet on you. And I ended up putting a little bit more money than I normally would on the stadium. And of course, I think he point seven? I'm almost positive he point seven down. I don't know if that's the case, but I know it was a short roll. But it was a blast meeting him and talking to him and getting to know him. It really was. So, all right, let me tell you about the major highlights of the gambling. So, there was one time we ended up, my wife and I went down to the casino, Treasure Island, and I told her, I was like, I'm going to play some stadium craps and then see if, because the table was kind of busy. They only had one table open. Table was kind of busy. It was probably a good 2 hours before we were going to eat dinner. So I said, I told her, I said, let me, I'm going to play, you go play, and then we'll meet in the middle somewhere. So she went to 3-card poker. That's her game. Man, that girl does good in 3-card poker. I ended up going to the stadium craps, played that for a little while, and then I noticed a couple of spots got open on the regular table, so I got up and went to the regular table. I put down $200. It was the 15 limit. Yeah, they hadn't moved it up to 25 yet, so it was $15. And I started playing. Table was fairly busy, but it wasn't like jam packed. I'm basically, what was I? I was stick right. Stick right. Yeah, I was stick right like 2. Not my ideal spot. I actually like stick left, but it didn't matter. I just turned my body and shot the other way, So I ended up doing really, really well, guys. It was pretty impressive. My shooting, by the time it went around 2 or 3 times, I had shot at least a 25 roller, and I did really good on myself. I was betting on myself, so I ended up doing pretty decent. But then there was another guy. First off, I had trusted in his rolling because I saw him roll already. And so I started betting significantly right from the get-go and started pressing quickly as he was rolling. And it was just one of those lucky rolls. I mean, he had over a 40 roller, hitting every single inside number multiple times. I'm not an odds player, but I did play the odds on, especially if it was an inside number, if the point was set on an inside number. I played the odds. I maxed out the odds a couple of times. So let me tell you the strategy. So this was kind of cool. Nemo sent me a strategy. I don't know if anybody had seen it, but I have done a video on a strategy that Nemo ended up making for me. It's called the yo-yo. And I ended up doing that strategy for the first half of this run on the table. Worked fantastic. It really did. You got to give it to the rolls being that good and that long. I mean, that goes along with any strategy, right? But because of the way that it's set up, there was several times where, especially myself when I was doing it, that the 11, the yo would happen. And on the come out, you're getting paid on the yo, you're getting paid in the field, and you're getting paid on your pass line. And it really is an amazing hit. And it happened a couple of times. And then throughout the process, After at a certain point, it ended up somebody, because it wasn't me who was rolling, but somebody else ended up 7ing out. I decided, okay, that worked really well, and I've got a really good bankroll now. And let's try something else. I got about another hour or so, right? So let's try something else. So I ended up really going aggressive on the 6 and 8. That's basically it. That was the strategy, the 6 and 8. But I went aggressive, like really hardcore. I'd put, double the minimum, just to start off with, double the minimum, which was, so I put $30 down on the 6 and 8. And the moment one of them hit, I would literally like bring it immediately to like 90. And then I would go up from there. And then I regress down. This is where that guy with the 40 roller, this is where I made all the money. I mean, it was amazing because I was up there on the 6 and 8 really high, and he would hit him a few times. Now, let me tell you this. There is something to say about being that lucky, right? $200 buy-in, and then just so you know, I walked away with $1,200 off the table after tipping, and actually I ended up tipping the shooter as well too. I ended up doing really well, but I did not maximize the opportunity, guys. There's no doubt that I only had $200 buy-in, but when I started with this guy that was shooting 40 roller, I had already quadrupled my bankroll on myself and a couple of other shooters. So I was playing with nothing but profit and casino money. Which, yes, I understand. That's my money. It's not casino money. I get it. But you know what I'm saying. It was $200 that I started with, and I'm like, psh. So I should have probably been pressing to the moon from the get-go. At least, immediately once you start realizing that this guy is a really hot shooter. The one thing I did notice that I was doing, even though I was such in profit, is I always felt in the back of my head that, man, how many rolls is this? You know what's coming. And lo and behold, it never did. But in the back of my head, that's constantly what I kept thinking is, I know what's about ready to come, and I would sure like to be able to be the smart guy here and pull down. So I did an awful lot of regressions. I would get it up high, hit it one time, and then regress all the way back down. Hindsight is 20/20, right? Given the opportunity, I think with real money at a real casino, the situation that it was at, I probably would have played it a little bit differently. But also probably not just putting $200 as a bankroll. My original issue, I guess in the back of my head is, man, I started with $200. I probably should have walked up there with, and it's not that I didn't have the money. It's that I just walked up there with, I just put $200 down. I could have grabbed more money out of my wallet or whatever. It didn't matter. But it was in the thought in my head, $200, look how much, if I started with 500 or more, maybe that thought process wouldn't have been there. It's only 200, now I've got 1,000, it's only double, so I think that had a little bit to play with it, as well as the always worrying about the 7 coming. So I think I might have played it a little bit differently, having given that opportunity again. Walked away with $1,200 though. I was very, very happy, guys. I did a little short of it. I show all the chips in my hands. We were sitting at dinner, and there it was. Oh, look, what happened? It's an ad now. Let me turn that off. Sorry about that. So I didn't know that the fireplace ended on the. I had the fireplace thing going on the Roku. So okay, um, let me get to um, something that happened. We ended up having that wonderful dinner, and then I ended up talking to Nemo, telling him how awesome it was. He called me. We ended up talking a little bit. And then my wife decided after dinner, she decided she wanted to go try the slot machine. And she went into the high roller slot machines, the high stake ones. Uh, Guys, she did great. I think it was $1,400 she walked out of that place with. I'm not a slot machine player, but I tried it a couple of times after she won. Yeah, I still lost my ass. So we were doing really, really, really well. Okay. It was a lot of fun. Then you start losing it, right? I mean, we didn't lose it all. We actually came home with some money. So I'm not going to make you think that I lost it all. But 3-card poker kicked my ass. My wife did really good. 3-card poker kicked my ass. I played with her because I love, playing with her, doing all this stuff with her. She, by the way, deserves big kudos. If you're still watching, put it in the comments below. Great job, Miss Midmoyo. It was, there was so many times that she was just sitting in the hotel room by herself or just playing something by herself because I was, at Casino Quest or, it was, or she was not forced, but, coming out with all of us. She's not a craps player. She doesn't really play craps. So she was a trooper, man. She was amazing. Never once complained. I love that woman. This is the reason why I married her. So yeah, comment below if you don't comment anything at all. Say awesome job, Miss Midmoyo. All right, so we ended up, losing some. Got the whole gambling thing out of the way, and then it was time to do Casino Quest. Ended up going over there. Had a lot of fun. Bought some stuff. And then Dice Dr. Dan ended up talking to me about let's mess with Sideshow a little bit. He said the day of the battle, why don't you wear this hat and tell him I didn't bring the fedoras? It's exactly what I did. But it was fun. Chris actually, he was like, I don't care. You can mail them to me. He was all in fun. It was awesome. But I had them hid. He didn't know that I actually brought them with me. Excuse me. So it was a big event. It was a lot of fun. So I'm sorry this is long, guys. But all right. So I think I got all the thank yous out of the way, I think, right? Meeting, my wife actually even played on the women's part, they were playing craps, and Alfredo actually dealt for her. He was right next to her, and I kind of left them alone, walked over here, was talking to Chris and some other people, and after it was all said and done, my wife actually said Alfredo was awesome. He was helping me out and everything. So thank you, Alfredo. That was fantastic. I appreciate you taking care of my wife, buddy. It was a lot of fun. There was so many things going on there. So many people to meet. There was all kinds of food and, drinks and everything. It was just, wow. It was a great event. It really was. Amazing thing to be part of. And I can't thank all of the organization or the organizers that organized this, all the way up until Justice Jen. I mean, she ended up doing an awful lot of this stuff and making huge donations too. So it was great. It was really amazing. Um, and I know I'm going to say that a lot, and I'm sorry, but it really was a phenomenal event and a lot of fun to be part of. All right, so let's talk about the battle. Well, if you don't already know, and I'm sure most of you do, I no longer have my fedoras. And that is the truth. They are no longer with me. Chris from Sideshow Gamble has them, and he won them fair and square. And it was so much fun being part of this thing that kind of got a lot further than what we thought it was going to get. I mean, Chris and I started this kind of like banter, and then it kind of blew up, which was kind of wild. I'm going to speak my piece, though, and I hope I don't offend anybody. Has nothing to do with Sideshow at all. The reason why I lost, of course, at least that we know of, is the fact that I had to do the all-in roll. I did it first thing. It seemed to work the last time that I tried it, but I wanted to do something aggressive because I was already above Chris's bankroll to start out with. So what I was planning on doing was, and some are going to agree, some are going to disagree, and that's okay. And actually, if you do disagree, please comment below, because I do want to know. What I was looking to do was to put it all out from the very first roll, making all bets working. And that way, if anything hits, it's a huge bet that is going to make a lot more on my bankroll, giving me the opportunity to regress immediately right after that very first roll, and then play the different strategies that I had planned on. I did not get that opportunity. After the first time that Chris got burned with the all-in through our battles, it was apparent that a lot of people didn't like this all-in rule. Myself and my wife being one of them. In fact, my wife was I'd never seen her get so mad about something about craps. Not on this battle, but the very first time that I got burned on the all-in thing. So listen, when it comes down to it, and this is probably not that I lost. Please understand that it's not because I lost. Because I would be more than happy to say that I lost. It really has to come down to I ended up not getting an opportunity to do all the things that I practiced for. Let me explain. Over the few months, I haven't done a whole bunch of videos about any kind of strategies or anything other than here's the deal, and I have a craps question. I've done a couple of shorts, and I've done a couple of, I did a couple of strategies, but it was just like recently. But I really was holding off on a lot of what I was doing, and the reason is I was doing a lot of practicing. I didn't record anything. I didn't want to. I guess what I'm saying is I didn't want Chris to have the edge to see what I was doing. All right? I mean, in a nutshell, I wanted to win. And I was really trying to keep everything kind of secret. For the last few months, I have been practicing on all kinds of dice setting. I actually was standing the distance away from my portable table to pretend like it's an actual real craps table. I was doing all kinds of strategy rollouts, um, some new, some old, things that were aggressive, things that were hybrid. Um, I tried an awful lot of different things. And I had come up with three that I was going to really attempt and really go at it hardcore. It was all going to be dependent on what happened throughout the rolls. So I'm going to try one strategy. If I seven out, then I'm going to pull out another one. You see what I mean? So everything was going to be according to how things were playing, but I had these in my back pocket ready to rock and roll. I had dice sets that I had been practicing on for months. I'm not bitter. But I didn't get a chance to do any of it. It was kind of, listen, when it came down to it, the rule's the rule. I'm not upset about it. We already agreed many times that we're going to stick to the all-in rule. My thought process behind it was to put it all out with the money that I had, because the more money that I make, the harder it's going to be to do an all-in. So do it when you have the least amount of money, which is the very first roll. And then I'm done with that challenge, and then I can go on to doing everything that I just described. Nobody plays that way. That's what I don't like about it. Nobody plays that way. Not even if you're in a tournament. The only time you would ever do an all-in thing is if you had $100 left or $200 left after you had waxed your whole entire bankroll, and you're like, fuck it, let's put it out there, you know. Doing an all-in challenge roll and having those dramatic situations happen as it did does not in any way, shape, or form show any kind of strength in your skills of a craps player. I'm going to say this, I without a doubt, I'm not saying, I talked a lot of shit this entire battle. I had to. Chris from Sideshow Gamble is a much, much better player than me, guys. There's no doubt about it. But there was no way in hell that I was going to back down. And that confidence level helps me whenever I'm in those things. I would have loved to have seen what actually happened if that 7 did not come on that very first roll. Now, some people are going to say, well, why the hell didn't you put a lay bet? I know. I wanted to. There was probably 3 different or 4 different scenarios that I had come up with in my head that I was going to do on roll number 1. But I had seen Chris roll a few times, actually. He was all warmed up. He was ready to rock and roll. There was a lot going on. And I'm also going to go one step further, as there is an entire table full of people. A table full of people that are all ready for this. And I was nervous as hell. You can ask my wife. Sideshow will even attest to this, because I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm really nervous. This is crazy. When I got those chips placed to me, I immediately saw that I wanted this stack to be on the 6 and 8, because, you know, that's what I was really shooting for, is the 6 and 8. I've been practicing, and I really wanted the 6 and 8 to hit for me. I had a little bit left that I could have done a lay bet. And then I would have had, you know, that amount where if the 7 hit, I got half of that. Or if the 7 didn't come, then I can finally pull that lay bet down. I should have. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But if the 7 hit, which it did, my initial thought process was to have my 6 and 8 that high. That lay bet was not going to be that much of in value. I mean, I probably could have done, but okay. So if you didn't see it, I put all my money out there. I rolled a 7 first roll. All my money's gone, except for I was lucky enough to put a quarter on the pass line. And we didn't even have to do that. But I did because I was going to play the odds. That's what my original plan was, is to max out the odds, especially if it was a 6 or 8. So I put a $25 bet on the pass line. When it was, when I rolled that 7, I don't think I heard a roar so loud. And I looked, I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe what just happened. I recognized that I made a mistake immediately. I should have put a lay bet down. I should have. I definitely should have. I really wasn't expecting that to happen. But I should have put a lay bet down. So I look over at my wife. The crowd is still, it's insane. I look over at my wife and she's got the eyes, like she actually took pictures of it. Hopefully I can post it up on here. I'm going to try doing some editing and stuff. And you'll see my reaction. It was like taking my hat off, it was something like that. It wasn't a video. It was pictures. She snapped a few pictures. But it was right after I threw that 7. So I won on my pass line bet. I had $25 on the pass line, so I won on my pass line bet. So I had $50, right? Woo! And I put it on the field. What are you going to do, right? I found out later that Chris, Sideshow, as I throw the dice, he was saying, please don't let it be the KitchenAid mixer. Now, this is when I think this was the best part of the battle, in my personal opinion. When I put that $50, my last $50 on the field, and I tossed my second roll, and the fucking KitchenAid mixer comes up and takes my field back. I gotta tell you, that probably was the best KitchenAid mixer in history. So listen, I have no hard feelings against anybody or anything. The event was amazing. Hurt inside, but not embarrassed. Not like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have my face shown again. That stuff doesn't bother me. This was all in fun, and it was a really fun thing to be part of. I do wish we would not have done that all-in challenge. I think things would have been a lot different. Chris couldn't even really play his strategies, really. I mean, I was down to 0. He was just rolling dice at that point because there was no, the only thing he could do is lose all of his money, and he made sure that he didn't. In fact, he brought it all the way down to his pass line bet and $1 in his rack, so he had $26 left. So he wasn't even trying at that point. It wasn't. It almost made it like it wasn't the fun that we wanted it to be. And I do have to apologize for that because it's my fault. I ended up making the wrong call, and I ended up waxing it all out in one roll. I mean, it sucks, but that's just the way the dice roll. I mean, I can't do anything about it. I don't have the time machine. So I do wish I would have done a lay bet. I will say that. But I didn't. So I was going for the big win. I really wanted to smear it in his face kind of a thing, and it backfired on me. So what are you going to do? Having said that, it was a lot of fun, and I have found a lifelong friend in Chris Sideshow Gamble, as well as many of the other people. I mean, Craig, Old Bay Crafts, we were hanging out a bunch. Rob was driving us around. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun, guys, meeting all those people. I hope the next time we have another event, we can all get together, that more of the community can come out, just because of how much fun that was. So, I'm going to leave it there. I've been long-winded enough, right? I'm going to leave it there. It was a trip that I've got to say thank you to my wife. She didn't really get an opportunity to have an awful lot of fun in Vegas. Like she's, last time we went, we did all the fun stuff and all. There was very little bit of that going on for her. So she was just along for the ride. But never once did she complain. So, honey, thank you. I love you. Putting up with me, putting up with hearing about me afterwards. By the way, I do want to say this. Everyone was going somewhere afterwards. I think Harris. I think they were all going to Harris to go gamble. Yeah, we just didn't feel like it afterwards. I was kind of bummed out a little bit, guys. I'm not going to lie. My wife was not really in the mood either. We went, got something to eat. We played a little bit, but then we hung out at the bar. Just talked a little bit. We were talking about my daughter, because she was here. So we just didn't feel like it. And I was not avoiding anybody. I actually left my phone on the charger in the room. So I do apologize. I did see a couple of texts, but I did want to explain that. I do apologize for that. But yeah, we weren't in the mood, just kind of one of those things after that bummed out situation. But Chris from Sideshow is such an amazing guy. If you didn't know this already, and I was going to save this right to the very, very end. If you didn't know this already, he has agreed to actually still give me this table. I mean, come on. What that is, I don't even know what to say. It almost makes me tear up just saying it. He is a straight up guy. When Chris told me that he's going to give me the table, we talked about it a little bit. He's going to actually come and deliver it. And then we're actually going to do some videos together. And I told him on the way back to the hotel, I said, Chris, I know exactly the video that we need to do. And he agreed 100%. So when this table does come here, and Chris and I do our video together, we're going to redo this 30-roll challenge without the all-in. And we're going to see what could have happened. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Sorry, it was really long. It's going to take forever for me to edit this. So if it comes up today, I hope so. It might come up tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But that's all I had for you. Thank you so much. Hit that like, subscribe if you haven't. Somebody ended up unsubscribing after I lost, which I thought was kind of petty, but whatever. I thought it was kind of funny. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.